I just wanted to have you on the show. I just want everybody to see on Janda Becanda podcast the picture of what is a thriving woman look like post a major loss in her life. And I want everybody to know you, everybody to understand what it looks like to move on. So, for listeners of Janda Becanda, today we have a guest who has a similarity with me. Our first husbands passed away prematurely. So, we're Jandas in that sense of, in the KTP, that would say cerai mati. That's for us. And so, she's now since been remarried. I told her, jangan ikut-ikutan nanti with me because my second marriage ended in divorce. So I want her to have a lasting and happy marriage in the second marriage. So, but the reason why we have Airin Efferin on the show today is because she is all sorts of fantastic. And I particularly want to speak to her about her book. And it's right here. I have it. She sent it to me, and it's amazing. It's called Sketsa dan Sesal, Sketches and Regrets. And what it is actually is a tribute to her late husband. And it's quite the love story, everybody. It's very beautiful. It's very moving. Her late husband was an architect. So there's tons of sketches here of his work, which are gorgeous. And more than that, I have my two favorite parts of the book that really stood out to me in the corners of my mind was of the story that you shared of when he invited you to see the space that would be your home with him. And
Mhm.
um, the only thing that you said that it was missing was a piano because Iron's a musician. And so she is the founder and the director of the Bandung Symphony. And so for a musician, that was a big part. And that's the only thing that needed completing was the piano. And I love that. And then Irene was, and then my second favorite part of the book, if I can jump ahead, is that you wanted to form the Bandung Symphony at the time and you needed to find a home for this big dream of yours. And then your late husband sketched the designs, and that was the birth of the new home for the symphony. So twice he made you a home, and I love that. And there was more than just a piano on the second one. I imagine there would be other musical instruments in the other one. So it's always filled with music, it seems like, and creativity and positive people. And like I said to Irene, sometimes the good die young, and because they're good, they go. And it seems like you had the chance of meeting a wonderful human being. So I'm glad that you had the chance to have those memories with him. Of course, we're always sad to see our loved ones go too soon. But I didn't tell everyone first. I know this is the top of the show, but tell everyone where they can get a copy of this book because it's beautiful. Everybody needs to see it.
Thank you very much, Tanya. So it's published by Raw Press, Omah Library, which is a community of architects that have a commitment to advance architectural knowledge in Indonesia. Jadi bisa dilihat di
Okay.
Omah Library, OMAH
Um,
Library.
I will include that in the show notes. So it's worth it,
Thank
guys, for you guys to actually see that. And Irene also has a podcast. You guys need to check it out. It's Airin Efferin, and you can find it on her website on airinefferin.com. My favorite episode of Irene's podcast episode, which I invite everyone to check it out, is her interview with Frances Bowden Afandi, an American woman who was married to an Indonesian man. And then she was very surprised with the Muslim tradition of how quickly the deceased is buried, and how the community really envelops and just takes care of the widow and takes care of the widow's family, takes care of the funeral arrangements, and she wasn't used to that. And so that was a very interesting perspective, as she is an anthropologist. I am one too, by the way. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. So now you know two gender anthropologists. I'm sure there's more of us,
Yeah.
but
You are awesome, Batania, a woman of many secrets and talents.
they're not secrets, but yeah, they're just old stories. So that's why it's
Okay,
I, I'm
okay.
I'm actually I'm actually that old, so that's why I have done a lot more things. But you're young and you've done also a lot of incredible things. The one thing that I'm inspired to do is actually I'm inspired to learn music more, um, as a form of an expression, I suppose. So, not that I'm ever going to join or let anyone else hear my music playing, but I think I'm inspired by you, that I feel like I'm going to try and incorporate that into my daily practice somehow. I'm thinking the piano, if
That's
not that, a
wonderful.
ukulele.
That's great.
If not piano,
Even better.
I don't. I don't know what my family members would say about my late blooming in music, but we'll see.
It's
Oh
okay,
my
lah. It's
gosh, I'm
okay.
so
It's not
sorry.
the trumpet or the saxophone.
How long ago did you start playing music?
I started to learn piano when I was 6 years old. Terus
Okay.
actually aku coba-coba yang lain juga sih. Aku coba-coba biola, terus juga coba-coba trombone, talk about blowing instruments. Coba-coba trombone, terus juga
Hmm.
klarinet.
So yeah, I just wanted to have you on the show. I just want everybody to see on Janda Becanda podcast the picture of what is a thriving woman look like, post a major loss in her life. And I want everybody to know you, everybody to understand what it looks like to move on and still be able to honor and respect the memory of our loved ones. Because I think some people are unable to move on for whatever reason. It's not even the death of a spouse, but even just a relationship that's passed, or a divorce, and they
Mhm,
have a hard time moving on. And I want
mhm.
everybody to see the example that you're providing, that it doesn't have to be the end of your life story, right? That's one chapter
Yeah,
of your life.
yeah,
And because you have many interests, many talents, endless curiosity, right? Tons of energy that
mhm,
sustains you, obviously, and that has allowed you to move on and do a lot of creative things, like producing an off Broadway performance in Jakarta. I mean, how
yeah,
that's unimaginable, right? Before you couldn't. I mean, first of all, it's an off Broadway, but all the way in Jakarta, so that's an
yeah.
incredible venture. And I want everybody to see just the level of opportunities that you can create for yourself. It's just so endless, and it comes with a lot of respect for the talent that you have, because you have a talent in music and things that are related to music,
Thank you.
um, right? And in the end, you are able to draw to yourself, like you said, well, now you're part of this community of artists and creative people that sort of feeds on itself, but as a result of honoring your talent and honoring your passion, that comes to you. Because we know on Janda Becanda podcast, there's quite a bit of people who, are always wondering what to do next after post a divorce or post of death of a
Mhm.
spouse. And Irene's an
Yeah,
example of
yeah.
that. You know, look at her.
Yeah.
She's vibrant and full of activities that she's doing. She's written a book. She's um, started up a symphony. Started up a symphony. Can you guys imagine that?
Of
Start a
all the
symphony in
things,
your
yeah.
city.
Of all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody else do. Start as a symphony in your city, Start with a trombone and a harmonica and a gong or something, three instruments. I'm just saying. But you could do it. And here's an example of a woman who's done it. So tell me, what more are you doing for yourself? Because obviously, that's not the only thing that you're doing for yourself. So what
Tahu
else do
aja.
you do?
Oh,
Well, I can
tahu
I can
aja
sense that. I can
sebenarnya.
sense that. I can sense that. Yeah.
So actually ngomong-ngomong soal apa aja yang bisa kita lakukan sesudah sampai kita meninggal ya. One of the things
Yeah.
that I did was jadi
Mhm.
gini, waktu si Oki suami aku masih hidup itu kita sempat menanam pohon mulberry di kebun
Okay.
kita.
Okay.
Nah, terus setelah si Oki meninggal, pohon mulberry-nya kan ya terus hidup kan dan berbunga terus, berbuah terus. Jadi dibikin selai, selai mulberry.
Okay.
Terus actually mulberry is quite a rare fruit, especially kita kan organik kebun sendiri kan. So
Mhm.
actually di Bandung banyak yang cari juga buah itu. Nah, terus
Nice.
dibikin selai, it's like nobody ever tried mulberry jam before. Jadi demand-nya lumayan besar sih. So every harvest season,
Wonderful.
setahun 2
I
kali
love
kita
it.
bikin selai.
Yeah. What's the name of the brand of the jam?
It's under the house brand. The house brand is called Villa Gupondoro, and that's on Airbnb right now. So that's another thing that I did was I decided ya butuh duit lah ya. Semua juga kan
Mhm.
namanya suami meninggal, we might have lost a big finance support. Jadi rumahnya itu di Airbnb, namanya Villa Gupondoro. Nah, di Villa Gupondoronya ada kebun mulberry. Jadi mulberry jam by Villa Gupondoro.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So there you go. She's producing a off Broadway play. She's written a book. She's making jam. She's an Airbnb host, right? And I'd like to talk a little bit about that financial stability for Jandas. That's a big, big, big topic because financial stability is the core of Janda's ability to move on. Karena kadang-kadang keterpurukan keuangan itu yang membuat seorang janda juga kadang-kadang menjadi sulit untuk mau bergerak, untuk bertindak, untuk mempunyai aktivitas. Jadi, kalau yang masih menikah yang mendengarkan podcast ini, kalau sekarang tidak bekerja, cobalah dipikirkan sekarang cari jalan, cari cara untuk bagaimana caranya untuk mempunyai keuangan sendiri, membuat uang. Dan ikutin contohnya Airin, cari kerjaan yang disenengin, jadinya nggak berasa sesuatu hal yang aneh karena itu bidangnya yang digelutin tuh yang menyenangkan. Dan kadang-kadang suka bukan karena satu hal yang mungkin Airin mungkin nggak seneng bikin selai tadinya, tapi karena ada ide dan dikerjakan. Itu menjadikan sesuatu yang it's a beautiful story dan juga menyenangkan dan menghasilkan uang. Jadi
Betul,
ada contoh-contohnya
betul.
bisalah kita cari cara apa yang kira-kira bisa cocok seperti itu. Nah, contohnya seperti podcast Janda Becanda. It's not my daytime job as a podcaster. Tapinya I thought of having the podcast because I thought I could share my experiences and I could learn from other women like Airin and like all of our past guests. And so I wanted to have the podcast, and it's been a wonderful networking experience for me professionally and personally to have had that. So that's another example. You could start your own podcast. Tell us what's your unique
Mhm.
story that you'd like to share with us. You get to meet other people, you get to network. So the list goes on, right? And
Mhm.
I think just ultimately is that uh, about if any takeaways from two jandas talking on a show about what we can share to other people, ya kan?
Yeah, my practical tips, which I also mentioned in Grace's show, was to learn the breathing technique, and it's called box breathing. Dan ini benar-benar berguna di semua saat, Mbak Tania. Not just when you're feeling, sometimes emotions can just rush over you, ya kan? And
Mhm.
like you just really can't do anything. You just gotta cry it out or or just stay still or something. Nah, di saat-saat kayak gitu, breathing technique untuk bisa menenangkan itu sangat berguna sekali dan sangat bermanfaat. Nah, setelah aku sering menggunakan breathing technique itu, other times like when I'm
Mhm.
nervous, preparing for let's say a
Mhm.
concert atau mau public speaking atau misalnya mau interview, untuk yang nggak terbiasa mungkin nervous kan ya kalau mau interview, breathing technique itu juga sangat berguna. Namanya box breathing.
Mm. Box breathing. Do you want to give an example? Lead on a box breathing example. Go ahead and
Sure,
show
okay.
everyone how to do a box.
Okay. Nah, jadi kita tarik nafas melalui hidung kita, hitung sampai 4. Tahan, hitung sampai 4 juga, terus keluar lewat mulut. Terus tahan lagi. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you breathe in through your mouth again. You can do that as many times as you need.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Thank you for that, Irene. And the podcast Janda Becanda, banyak variety of different kinds of breathing techniques. You guys can check out past interviews with Vima Lamura, also with Maya Hassan, on this particular subject. But the point is, do something that you can incorporate into moments when you are feeling stressed.
Mhm.
And so stressors can come in many different ways and different shapes. So you need to be able to have something in your back pocket that's on the ready. Kalau menghadapi situasi yang stres, kita tahu cara ngadapinnya. Pertama adalah untuk menenangkan diri. Dan pentingnya kalau dengan latihan napas itu, dengan cepat kita bisa menurunkan detak jantung. Nah, dari situ kita mulai bisa berpikir. Semakin kita itu bisa memberikan jarak dari perasaan emosi yang bergejolak tinggi, sedih, marah, kesal, dengan waktu kita untuk bereaksi, semakin banyak waktu dan kesempatan untuk kita bertindak yang lebih baik, memberikan
Betul.
kita kesempatan untuk bertindak yang lebih baik. And it becomes easier and easier. So then you are removed from always reacting upset or
Mhm.
disappointed, because sometimes those things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it other than just making sure that you can be prepared and relaxed for it, and then taking on the next step, you
Yep.
know so there's always another opportunity for something else.
Yep.
And I like
Yep.
that. I like knowing that Airin ini juga, yang dimaksud dengan box breathing ini adalah untuk scuba diving. Did you mention last time ya?
Oh iya ya.
Belajar
Jadi
box breathing ya?
aku
Iya
iya,
kan?
I actually was more aware of my breathing karena aku scuba diving gitu.
Okay. See, there's another layer of that's of interest for Airin. Orang umumnya nggak bisa scuba diving di kolam renang di rumah. Biasanya orang tuh traveling. Jadi artinya ada komponen daripada Airin yang suka traveling juga. Dan pas lagi traveling suka scuba diving gitu. Coba deh dicari buat yang dengerin, apa sih yang kira-kira tuh yang bisa dikerjakan ya untuk for you that would work out the best in terms of extending, your creativity, extending your passion, extending your generosity, your compassion to other people. What are those things that could be beautiful for you and for other people they experience? What do you
Mhm.
think, Irene? Yeah.
That's so
So
true.
for me,
And yeah,
I'm gonna try playing
it could
piano.
be anything really, yeah. Okay, siap. That sounds good.
Irene's gonna be my piano teacher. And then nggak apa, ntar
Let me
kalau
know.
lagi main piano sama Irene di mute ininya, nanti zoomnya gue
Oh, enggak dong, enggak dong.
di mute. Oh my god, parah gitu
Enggak
ternyata.
lah.
That's okay.
Gotta
It
start
could be
somewhere.
cooking, it could be sewing. Yeah, it could be cooking, it could be sewing. Di Janda Becanda podcast, kita talk about how to make side hustle money. Bisa ada yang kemarin ini kita ada yang bahas mengenai how to become a reseller. Ada yang
Hmm.
cara bagaimana untuk investing di stok saham. Ada yang bagaimana caranya untuk menjadi life coach. Macem-macem
Hmm.
pokoknya. Selalu ada cara kalau kita bisa berpikir, oke, ini yang gue seneng adalah ini. And cerita janda itu baik maupun janda jadi karena suami meninggal muda ataupun karena cerai, that doesn't have to be your only story. That's the thing that I want everybody to know, even janda bercanda. That doesn't have to be the legacy of your life story that you were once married to another person, which was great or not great, depending. But it doesn't have to be the only thing that everyone else remembers you by, or it doesn't have to be the way that you see yourself, right? Because that's also the most important thing is that
Mhm.
you don't see yourself as just. So Irene obviously is not just the janda of her late husband. She is her own person
Mhm.
with a website, irinefferin.com. Everybody check it out. Her own podcast, her own like different things, right?
Yay! I love
So
you.
so it's all these things. So that's the only thing. If that's the only thing that somebody else listening is taking away from it, I have done my work here in Janda Becanda podcast. You know, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that. I think so. But anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that you sort of
Let's
that
see.
you're
We
angry
talked
about,
about
you're curious
yeah.
about? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to ask you, Mbak Tania, if it's okay. Boleh nggak nih?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. I'm an open book.
Because another thing that was different with our experiences, gue nggak ada anak waktu itu, but you did. You had a baby.
Yes, I do have
So,
and she's now 13, going on 14. So yeah, it's a long
so
time ago now.
the how do you like? Do you tell your daughter about Joel? Atau how does that work?
Every day, every day, every day. There's always something that I share about my late husband with my daughter, and or funny anecdotes, or the things that the funny quotes that he would say, things that we used to read together, films that we used to watch,
Mhm.
um, trips that we took, even the trips that we took with her. So as much as I was this that I'm able to do, I also share with her about the legacy of his work, about his family, his likes and dislikes. And yeah, she lives within him also, actually. There's a lot of funny quirks that behavioral things that even without her having grown up seeing what he was like, that she actually adopted, is probably in the DNA somehow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
so the intensity of her curious curious learning is very much like my late husband. So, um, yeah, so that's just innate. So for me, it's I don't need to. It's not every day. It doesn't have to be sort of a memorial tribute to my late husband either.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because it doesn't always have to be heavy, and it could be just all the funny and the silly things that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
And but we pray for him every day, so we remember him every day,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. So there's really no reason not to remember him. Ya kan?
There's no reason not to remember him. Yeah, there's every reason to remember him.
Mhm.
You know, so it's a it's a wonderful thing to have had her, and also for because we've had wonderful memories with with Joelle when we had her, the trips that we had.
Mhm.
We managed to go camping together.
Mm.
You know, so I'm glad that we did those things. And that's the other thing, everyone. While you're still alive, make time to do things that you enjoy because life is short.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are in complete power and complete charge of making very beautiful memories for yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're in a relationship that doesn't allow you to make beautiful memories, you need to revisit the reasons why you're in that relationship. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Ada satu quote Mbak Tania is, and I remember it a
Uh-huh.
lot because I also have been in relationships that was bad. Intinya tuh gini, you're not a tree.
Oh.
You can move.
Uh-huh.
Kita tuh kan ya kan kalau pohon ya udah nggak bisa mau nggak mau ya udah diam di situ. But we're not trees. We got feet.
Yeah, pick up and leave. That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Well, that's definitely food for thought there in terms of yeah, you're not fixed. You're not fixed somewhere that you can't make those changes for yourself. Even
And you
trees can
can,
be moved, Irene.
iya sih, iya. Tapi kan harus orang lain yang mindahinnya kan. Oh well, unless if you're a tree in Amazon, karena ada tree di Amazon
What, they
yang
can
bisa
move their tree?
pindah-pindah. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Well, the Amazon's always one step ahead of everyone else. But so imagine that you're a tree in the Amazon.
There
Even
you
then,
go.
you can still move. You can still
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
So there you have it. All right. There's no excuse to be in a bad relationship. And taking it from Irene and me. So I'm going to include the show notes, everything that Irene shared with us today, and if anything, you guys can always find the details on her website. She keeps a blog, and there's also a shop feature on there. What do you sell over there? Is that the mulberry jam available on there?
So everything on the shop is digital product, because
Hmm.
the audience is international, and I don't want to deal with
I see.
international shipping yet.
So then, Tokopedia. Then you're gonna need to have a Tokopedia shop for your mulberry jams.
That's one good idea from you. Yeah, I should do that among many great
Yeah.
ideas.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Why not? This is it. This is it, guys. This is the beginning of the empire, of the Mulberry Empire. Oh. And it all started with a love story. That's you guys got to read it for sure. It's a beautiful one. It's a it's a dense read. Dense in the sense that it's a brief read, but it's dense with messages. So that's what I like about it. It's beautiful and it's bilingual. So you guys can read the Indonesian or the English. And if you have any questions for Iron or for me, please make sure to DM us. Let us know your thoughts. If you have any particular subject that you'd like us to cover for the next episode, let us know so then we can do something about it.